Joining me now to discuss these latest developments is Dr. Raj Kalsi, a board-certified emergency medicine physician. Doctor, great to have you with us. You work in the emergency department of your hospital outside Chicago, and as we've been reporting, we learn about the complexity of the virus every day and how it affects the body. From the work that you're doing on the front line, dealing with patients, are you learning new things about this virus all the time?
Absolutely. This virus is extremely bizarre. This doesn't fit any form or factor of any virus that we're traditionally familiar with, like influenza or even bacterial infections. As you're learning about, as you're reporting appropriately, there are things from rashes to intestinal diseases like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. But the predominant portion of patients have this respiratory illness, and the actually bigger predominant portion of patients have no symptoms whatsoever. Leads me to believe that perhaps there may be some type of genetic signature that certain patients have that are more predisposed to this illness than other patients.
Dr. Kalsi, are you seeing changes or mutations in the virus over the past few months?
It's a great question. There's no way for me as a boots on the ground emergency physician to know if there's mutations. All I see is the same droves of patients coming in with respiratory illnesses, fevers, and then 20% of my COVID patients who end up having a positive COVID test simply have nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, or abdominal pain. And I'm not yet seeing a significant amount of children with the multi-system inflammatory disease, thankfully, as I have 3 children of my own.
Yeah, of course. It is extremely alarming when it starts affecting children, considering we thought initially at the start of the pandemic that they were immune. We reported earlier in the bulletin that a WHO official has warned this virus may become just another virus in our communities, and this virus may never go away. I guess in the same way as HIV is still in the community. What does that scenario look like to you?
Well, for instance, we have 4 coronaviruses we've already known about for decades. And these are very low virulence in terms of how intense they are. They cause the common cold, a runny nose, a sore throat, a dry cough, maybe for a day or two, sometimes a fever. The 2 more severe ones are MERS and SARS-1, which we were very familiar with in the past decade. MERS and SARS-1 have been eradicated for all intents and purposes. The other 4 are persistent, and they're cyclic. They're seasonal, like influenza. So this new SARS-2, COVID-19, the illness it causes, either is going to be completely eradicated, or it's going to be part of our vernacular every season. And if it's part of our cyclic disease processes that we test for, this is going to change the world forever.
So we're just going to have to learn to live with it.
We're going to have to learn to live with it. We're going to have to learn to mitigate it. So I'm hoping that science, with all of the world focusing on one problem right now, all of the best and most intelligent minds in science focusing on one problem, which is the novel coronavirus, I hope we find a vaccine. 2, I hope we find a way to mitigate patients from going into this life-threatening cytokine storm, which is causing the respiratory illness, subsequently causing people to go on ventilators, and subsequently causing some people to die from that.
Doctor, there's been a lot of research and discussion on the percentage of the population that has been exposed to the virus thus far, but the WHO official said that the number of people globally who've been infected is relatively low. What does that mean for the months ahead?
It means that there's a lot more of the population that needs to be infected. This concept of herd immunity means that every single person on the planet, the 6 to 7 billion people on the planet, need to be infected. In the United States, the 330 to 390 million people need to be infected, which means that we're going to see a lot more death. No doubt whatsoever.
Dr. Raj Kalsi, always great to get your perspective. Thank you for your work and thank you for joining us today.
Be safe. Thank you.